And we return. We return to more of this. You know, I've come to dread recording for each one of these, just because I don't want to go through my schoolwork. It's boring. You could just say, well, you don't have to go over your school material while you voice over these. Nobody likes them anyways. And to that I say, yeah, that's true, but you gotta remember, if I don't go through it here, I'm never gonna go through it on my own time. Because I just won't. Anyways, let's continue. We're almost done with the material from last time, and I see that the material after that is actually relatively short. So, if we make it... I was about to say if we make it in time. But, like, if we make it through all of it on time, then, you know, I'll find something else to talk about. I do have an update, though, for the whole Switch 2. You know, I mentioned last time I bought a Switch 2. I'll update you guys after that. Okay, anyway, so let's continue. I think last time I ended on slide 42. So now, we're moving on to slide 43. By the way, before we start, so it's getting warmer nowadays since winter's over, but just because it's getting warmer doesn't mean it's necessarily warm yet. Because, funny enough, I see the forecast tomorrow, or rather the day this is going to go up. I see the forecast tomorrow, it's going to snow. It's going to snow all day. What crazy times we live in. Damn, and it was actually warm enough these past couple of days to where pretty much all the snow has melted. Guess we're just gonna go right back to it. Alright, let's continue. Alright, issues with specific materials. Is that what we... No, that's not what the previous slide was about. Alright, cast iron. Splits along the top of the horizontal lines. Lead, prone to leakage after 40 years. Galvanized steel. Roughly 40 years life expectancy, often rusting on drain pipes, but excellent when used only for venting. Why do I feel like I already read this? Did I end on slide 42 or 43 last time? I don't remember. Anyways, even if I did go through this, I'll go through it again. So, issues with specific materials. Splits on tops of horrible... Oh my god. It's... tops is pluralized. Oh my god, I just can't speak tonight. Splits on tops of horizontal cast iron piping. We repeatedly find the piping split along the top of horizontal runs for no apparent reason. I think I read this. I think I remember reading that. Yeah, now that I look at this, I'm pretty sure I already read this. Okay, moving on. I think I even mentioned we ended on slide 43. So, slide 44. So this one continues. More issues with specific materials. Copper piping. Popular from the 50s to the 70s. Plastic piping. Combustible and cannot penetrate floors where fire separation is required. Plastic piping used at exterior can be attacked by sunlight. Hold on. Just need a sip real quick. Okay, copper piping. Copper drain, waste, and vent pipes are considered by many to be the best material. Were popular from the 1950s to the early 1970s. I am recording, right? Good. Alright, ABS and PVC. Excuse me if you can hear all these nasty throat noises. You know how I was feeling a little under the weather a little while ago? Well, I felt much better, and now it's like, kind of slingshot back. I'm not necessarily feeling as bad as I did a couple days ago, but like, my throat hurt a lot a couple days ago, and then it got better, and now it got not as better. But it doesn't feel as bad as before. Anyways, These lightweight plastic materials replaced copper drain, waste, and vent systems in the 1970s in many areas because they are inexpensive and easy to work with. The chief criticism of these pipes is that they are noisy. In some areas, plastic stacks in walls and ceilings are wrapped with insulation to minimize the noise. This helps, but does not completely eliminate the problem. Combustible construction and plastic piping. Plastic piping cannot typically penetrate floors, ceilings, or walls that separate two dwellings. Usually, there has to be a fire separation between adjacent dwellings. A plastic pipe would compromise this separation. Supports for plastic piping. Supports for plastic pipes shouldn't rub on the piping. The pipe can wear through as a result of abrasion. The pipe tends to expand and contract as it heats up and cools down and is susceptible to being worn through over time. Insulating the pipe to protect it from hangers is one solution, although this is rarely done. Metal hangers are worse than plastic hangers.
Rivali's Gale is now ready.
Oh, and you already know every time I see a star fragment, I'm gonna go and try to get it. Alright, connecting ABS and PVC. The solvents used to join ABS piping sections together are not the same as solvents used to connect PVC piping. The solvents are not interchangeable. Where ABS and PVC piping are to be joined together, a special combination solvent can be used. In some areas, authorities do not allow plastic piping, especially ABS, outside where it may be exposed to direct sunlight, which will break down the plastic over time. PVC may have UV, ultraviolet, stabilizers that make it more durable outside. Oh my god, this is a huge... I'm not even halfway done the slide. Or am I? Oh no, I am. I don't know what was going on. Whatever. Ignore me. Connecting differing plumbing materials. That's weird, having 3 words ending in ing back to back to back. One of the challenges with drain, waste, and vent piping is that more than one material is typically used in the system. A discussion of all the possible combinations and types of connections that can be made is beyond our scope. You should, however, be aware that connections are weak spots on drains, waste, and vent systems, and you should be checking all connections, paying particular attention to those between dissimilar materials. Okay, this time me yawning is valid, because I woke up early this morning. Last night, my mom wanted... Well, actually, my mom asked me if she... Damn. I really can't talk tonight. My mom asked me last night if I would be willing to wake up early so that we can go out for breakfast before going to work. And, well, my sister wasn't home yesterday night, so that meant I had to wake up early to feed our dog. And, well, I was awake early anyway, so I called up my mom, and we went out for breakfast before work. So, yeah, I am pretty sleepy. Okay, so we've talked about the general function of drain, waste, and vent piping, and the common materials used. Let's look at some of the problems we find in the field, starting with drain and waste piping. And the rest of this is pretty much all pictures. Yay. So the first picture, another poorly connected ABS and lead drain pipe. Ugh, that looks disgusting. Oh my god, there's more rust than there is pipe. This cast iron piping is so rusted, it is beyond repair. If you see this picture, you would be like, no shit. Alright, there's a white pipe here that's cracking. Splits on cast iron pipe, a common failure. Another common failure, corrosion. Alright, I see a little bit of the green on those pipes. More corrosion on cast iron. Okay. And last one, drastic leak from the cast iron stack. Yeah. Nasty picture. Alright, we're done with that week's material. Now let's move on to this week's material, which is only a whopping 23 slides, and I see a good chunk of it is pictures. Yippee. Alright, so continuing. Drain piping materials, common problems. Leaks, rust, freezing, split / damaged / crimped, clogged, poor support, cross connections, undersized / overloaded, poor slope, cleanouts missing or inaccessible, wielded steel, no, not wielded, welded steel, exposed to mechanical damage. Upcoming slides will oh my god. Upcoming slides will discuss these terms. Even more. Pipe size reduced downstream, galvanized steel buried in soil, combustible piping, defective ABS, noisy, non-standard materials, missing air gap or dishwashers, clothes washer drainage improper, condensate drain materials improper. I can't read for crap tonight. Let me try that whole thing again. Well, just the one I just messed up on. Condensate drain materials improver. Poor manifolding. Damage to clay underground drain pipe. Alright, so, leaks. Leaks. Gonna cook some leaks. Common problems, leaks. Leaks in drain and waste piping systems can be more difficult to find than in supply systems because the pipes are usually idle. Supply pipes are always full of pressurized water. Waste pipes intermittently. Oh my god. Why can't I read in general? Waste pipes intermittently see water at atmospheric pressure. The implications of a leak can be more serious because of the possible impact of sewage getting into the home. It's one of the reasons that water pipes cannot run above food preparation areas in some jurisdictions. Causes: leaks may be caused by poor joints, damaged, incomplete or defective piping or traps, freezing, clogging. Implications: sewage leaking into the house can make people sick. Leaks can also cause damage to finishes and to the structure. Strategy: you can only verify active leaks in waste plumbing systems by operating the fixtures. In many cases, you will see evidence of leakage, but won't know whether it is active until there is water running through the pipes. Generally speaking, the more water you run, the more likely you are to find the leaks. Focus on connections. We've talked earlier about the importance of looking at connections. Wherever the pipe changes direction or materials, we have a potential leak spot. Alright, freezing pipes. Where pipes pass through unheated spaces in cold climates, we have the possibility of leakage as a result of freezing. Sometimes the piping is insulated. Touching the insulation or removing part of it, especially near the bottom of any exposed sections, may reveal a slight leak. Traps in unheated areas are vulnerable to freezing. Rust. Watch for rusting on metallic piping. Cast iron piping will often leak at small pinholes. The pinhole leaks will often scab over with rust and stop leaking. We strongly recommend that you don't pick or poke at these pinholes. The pipe may be very thin and could collapse if you handle it roughly. Alright, and for the next handful of slides, actually the next 5 slides, it is pictures. Alright, so this picture here, container under pipe to collect leakage. Pipe requires replacement. Leakage has occurred through this cracked cast iron pipe. External sewer line cleanout. It just looks like something sticking out of a haystack. Sewer line cleanout removed, showing standard water from blocking sewer line. Okay, and, back to the slides with actual things to read. So, rust. Cause. Rust is caused by oxidation of metallic piping. Implications. The implications are ultimately leakage. Strategy. Most rusting is on cast iron or galvanized steel piping. The majority of it is on the inside of the pipe, and you won't be able to see the rust until it comes through the pipe surface. This can be pinholes, blisters, or splits. As we've talked about before, the rust on threaded piping often appears on the threaded connections first. Freezing. New PVC connecting into old cast iron. I guess let's talk about the picture. This is in a garage and looking above. This is in a garage and looking above. You can see the floor and heating ducts are insulated. Insulating the drain or providing heat tracing may be required. Anyway, note. Trickles of water can be oh my god. Note. Trickles of water can cause freezing more than a regular flow. Freezing. Freezing drain and water... what? I really can't read today. I'm reading worse than normal, and that's already saying a lot. Freezing drain and waste piping is only an issue where the piping is filled with water in cold climates and where the pipe is exposed to outdoor temperatures. These conditions may exist in garages and or crawl spaces, for example. Causes. Obviously, piping that has water in it below 32 degrees Fahrenheit / 0 degrees Celsius is going to freeze. Implications. Clogging, splitting, and leaking of the pipe are obvious implications. Literally how it's written. Strategy. A big-ass strategy by the looks of it. In many cases, pipes pass through unheated spaces without insulation. Because the warm water passes through quickly and infrequently, there may be no freezing up problems. However, if there is a faucet that drips, a trickle of water running down the inside of the pipe may be cooled enough to freeze. A trickle has very little thermal mass and will lose its heat to the pipe walls quickly. As the water freezes, it will build up ice. If uncorrected, the ice can build up to the point of obstructing the drain. This is more common on horizontal pipes, but can also happen on vertical pipes. Alright, improper slope. Low point beneath the connections. This can cause clogging of the waste. So, poor slope. Nearly horizontal drain pipes should generally slope at 1/4 to 1/2 inch per foot. Large pipes, bracket more than 4 inches, can slope at about 1/8 inch per foot. Cause. Poor slope may be the result of poor installation, building settlement or heaving, floor sagging, hanger failure, mechanical damage, or joint failure in the piping. Implications. A pipe that has too low a slope will be prone to clogging. A pipe with too steep a slope may be prone to clogging as the liquids flow by quickly, and the solids get hung up in the pipe. Am I dyslexic by chance? Like, genuinely? Strategy. Most home inspectors don't measure pipe slope. You should be able to sight along drain pipes and see a positive slope. Wherever you can't see a slope or you can see an obvious low spot, recommend further investigation. Poor support. Conditions. We've talked about the support requirement for piping systems at the beginning of this section. Generally speaking, you can't see vertical supports except at subgrade areas and in attics. Supports for horizontal pipes can often be seen in basements or crawl spaces. Cause. Poor support is caused by original installation, hanger failure. Implications. Improper slope, clogging, and opening at joints are all implications of poor support. Strategy. Your first step should be to look at pipes for evidence of movement. If a low spot is visible in a horizontal run, the supports are probably not adequate. Sometimes building settlements or heaving leaves some piping unsupported, with the hangers in mid-air below the pipe. Watch for pipes that are suspended above their hangers. Ooh, I see a lot to read on this one. Okay, cross connections. Cross connections can occur in fixtures where the faucet is below the high water level. An air gap is required to prevent contaminated water from being siphoned back into the potable water supply under negative supply pressure conditions. Replace faucet if sprout is below rim, or add hose, bib, vacuum breaker if spout is house threaded and above rim. Cross connections. We talked about a number of cross connections when we talked about the supply plumbing system. Cross connections include the supply and waste piping coming together. The following conditions are examples of possible cross connections in houses. Supply faucets below the flood rim of fixtures, drain connections from dishwashers, drain connections from clothes washers, water softeners, outside hose bibs with hoses attached, lawn sprinkler systems, bidgets, vegetable sprayers, and extendable faucets at kitchen sinks. Shower wands and bathtubs. Toilets have an inherent cross connections. Supply connections to heating boilers, trap primers. Causes. Cross connections are usually an installation issue. Implications. Contamination of a potable water supply is the implication of a cross connection. Strategy. Look for the common cross connection areas listed above and recommend rearrangement. Here's just a picture. Plastic hoses should not be used for permanent supply conditions. Let's see here. 2 ways to reduce risk of backflow into dishwasher. Dishwasher drain connections. Air gap needed in some areas. Oh my god. Oh, excuse me. In some parts of the United States, a drain connection from the dishwasher has to be made using an air gap which extends above the kitchen counter. The dishwasher waste passes through the drain hose, up through the air gap, and down typically into a garage disposal below the sink. A garbage disposal below the sink, not a garage disposal. The air gap fitting has to be above the flood level rim of the kitchen sink and the drain board, whichever is higher. Preventing cross connections. This air gap fitting prevents contamination of the potable water supply where it joins the dishwasher in the event that waste backs up through the dishwasher drain hose. Some areas only. This arrangement is not required in all areas. You'll have to check in your jurisdiction whether an air gap fitting is required on a dishwasher drain. No direct connection to waste piping. In areas where an air gap fitting is not required, care still must be taken when connecting a dishwasher drain to a waste system. The dishwasher drain cannot be directly connected to the waste plumbing system unless it's connected upstream of, bracket before, a trap. For example, the drain hose from a dishwasher cannot go straight into a plumbing stack or horizontal drain line below the dishwasher. The drain from the dishwasher can be connected to the tailpiece, bracket fixture outlet pipe, of a kitchen sink before the trap. Connecting straight into this piping or into a garage disposal are both acceptable arrangements. Cause. Improper drainage connection for dishwashers is an installation issue. Many homeowners install their own dishwashers, so problems in the area are common. Implications. A cross connection at the dishwasher is the risk here. Alright, strategy. In your area, you'll need to check to see whether air gap fittings are necessary on dishwasher drain connections. If so, you'll need to look for the arrangements outlined in the illustration. Ask the following question too. What about old houses? Were air gaps always needed? If not, when did they become necessary? Is the requirement retroactive? Bracket, do we need to go back and add them on existing installations? I'm already on slide 17 of 23. Oh, hold on. Okay, stand pipe. Clothes washers drain improper. Clothes washing machines have a drain hose that must discharge into the waste plumbing system. This should be an indirect connection to avoid cross connection. Indirect waste receptors for clothes washers are often constructed. They include vertical pipe that receives the clothes washer drain hose, a trap arm that attaches to a vented stack. This arrangement is sometimes called a standpipe. In many jurisdictions, the length of the standpipe has to be between 18 and 30 inches before the trap. In other areas, the vertical distance is 18 to 42 inches above and not more than 30 inches horizontally from the trap. The traps may not be allowed to be below the floor level. Traps may have to be between 6 and 18 inches above the floor. Standpipes often discharge into the fixture outlet pipe, bracket tailpiece, of a laundry tub before the trap. This is acceptable. Sink drainage may be a cross connection. The drain hose from many washing machines contains a 180 degrees bend near the end of the hose. Traditionally, this was hooked over the edge of a laundry tub, and the discharge went straight into the tub. This can create a cross connection since the outlet of the hose is below the flood rim of the laundry tub. This arrangement will still be commonly found in some areas. You should find out what your local plumbing authorities recommend here. Some areas will still accept this arrangement. Most modern installations utilize a standpipe of some sort. Causes. A clothes washer connection directly into a sink is obviously an installation or arrangement issue. Implications. The implication is a possible cross connection. Strategy. Know what your jurisdiction calls for with respect to clothes washer drainage systems. Is drainage into a laundry tub acceptable? A direct connection into a waste stack is not acceptable in any area that we know of. Okay. Condensate discharge locations. Alright, improper condensate drain connections. Condensate drains from air conditioners, condensing furnaces, and heat recovery ventilators cannot drain directly into a waste plumbing system. An indirect waste using an air gap must be provided. Alternatively, some areas allow connections of these pipes into the tailpiece (bracket fixture outlet pipe) of a basin. This puts the condensate connection into the drain system ahead of the trap. Another arrangement accepted in some areas is connection of the condensate lines into an overflow pipe for a bathtub. Again, we're connecting to a fixture ahead of its trap. You should check and see what arrangements are accepted in your area. In most areas, in most areas, direct connection of a condensate line into a stack is not permitted, even with a trap. The risk is that the trap water will evaporate, for example, when the air conditioner or the faucet is not in use over a period of time. This creates a path for fewer odors to get directly into the house. Air. Causes. These are installation issues. Implication. The implication here is sewer gases entering the house. This is unpleasant and unhealthy. This is not a cross connection since waste can't enter the potable water. But it's unsafe because sewer gases can enter the house directly. Strategy. Watch for condensate discharge lines connecting directly to waste plumbing systems. Or manifolding of drain piping. Rules of pipe connections is beyond the scope of home inspection. Horizontal drain lines joining a vertical stack should generally connect through 45-degree Y connections, WYE, I assume that's going to be pronounced Y, 60-degree Y connections, combination Y and 1/8 bends, sanitary T's or sanitary tapped T branches. Look at connections which will not promote flow of waste in the intended direction. 90-degree sharp turns should never be used. We are almost done. We're on slide 21 of 23. Alright, connecting vertical drain pipes to horizontal drain pipes. Note, a TY fitting can be used to connect a vent pipe to horizontal waste pipe. Alright, horizontal drain to No, I'm not reading that wrong. Horizontal drain to horizontal drain. When one horizontal drain line connects with another, the connection should be made through a 45-degree quote-unquote Y. Combination Y and 1/8 bend or other similar fittings. Again, the idea is to make the change of direction gradual and to encourage the waste to flow in the desired direction. Vertical drains discharging into horizontal drains. These connections should be made with 45-degree branches or similar fittings. If the vertical pipe is truly vertical, a 60-degree branch may be used. Causes. Poor connections are an installation issue. Implications. Poor connections may result in clogging of pipes. Strategy. Look at drain connections from a common sense standpoint. Watch for connections that will not promote flow of waste in the intended direction. Waste should never be asked to make a sharp 90-degree turn and should never be asked to flow even slightly uphill. Alright, 2 more slides. The second last slide is a picture. This drain pipe is poorly manifolded. The section of the pipe coming in from the right will not properly drain onto the section of the pipe below that. I don't know what this says. KH, improper use of T-fittings, is common with the DIY crowd. What? This should be corrected. And last slide. Case study number 1, improper slope. Component, ABS drain. Condition, you can see the drain has a travel uphill. There should be a 1/4 inch per foot slope down from the pipe. Implication, clogging. Recommendation, recommend improving the situation. Okay, that's it. That is all for this week's material. Nice and quick. Did everything just go in one ear and come out the other? Yes. But who cares? So, now that I don't have to embarrass myself by reading horrendously, I can talk about a quick little update to the Nintendo Switch 2 I bought. So I bought that a couple days ago. I'm pretty sure I talked about it last time. And I think I mentioned that at first I was going to go and pick it up myself, but then I saw the option for shipping was available, so of course I was going to have it shipped to me. And for the past 2 days, I did see that yesterday they did attempt to ship it to me, but no one was home to answer the door. And then supposedly they tried to deliver today, but nobody heard anything. Nobody heard a doorbell. I didn't even get a notification on my phone. I don't know. I don't want to say it's absolute bullshit that they quote-unquote tried to deliver today. But whatever. And, well, my sister kept on bugging me like, do you have the tracking? And I just kept telling her, no, I don't have the tracking. I see nothing in my email. So I finally, I decided to call them. I decided to call customer support for Staples. I pretty much asked them, like, hey, I made a purchase online a couple days ago. And, I don't have anything in my email. I don't have a confirmation email. I don't have any sort of tracking number. And, well, logically, I was expecting this. I was expecting, do you by chance have an order number? And I'm just like, no, that's kind of the point, you know? I didn't save the order number because I kind of expected to get an email with that information. But lucky for me, we live in the modern world. We live in a society. We live in a modern world with technology and, where there's a will, there's a way. So, customer support, just by asking, what phone number I left or what email it was, they're able to track my number. What? Track my number. Track my order. So, turns out, it seems like I might have put the wrong email placing my order, so that's why I didn't get any sort of confirmation email. That's a whoopsie on my end. But yeah, I was pretty much told that because this is such a high, I don't want to say high quality, but this is such a high profile, like a really expensive item. You don't want to just leave on your porch, you know? This is a really pricey, really valuable item. So, yes, we require someone to answer the door and actually receive it. We're not just going to leave it on the porch, which, you know, makes sense. I pretty much was thinking that was going to be the case anyways. But then, I also had to double check, like, is there anything I should worry about if I miss too many opportunities to answer the door? Because, you know, I'm not always at home. I'm kind of at work. So, like, after a certain number of times, will it be sent to, like, a location I could pick it up at, or how does it work? So I was basically told that I was basically told that they will try to deliver it 3 times, and if it's not received 3 times later, then my order basically gets returned and I get refunded. But I don't want that. I don't want that because I bought it with a discount code. And if it gets returned and I get refunded, then I have to purchase it again, and I'm thinking the code has already expired. So if I were to purchase it again, well, no discount code this time. So tomorrow, when it's reported to snow, when it's forecasted to snow, I'm gonna stay home, and I'm gonna open the curtains and I'm gonna watch. I'm going to watch to see if any delivery cars pull up. Because, God forbid, what if I'm like in the bathroom or whatnot? What if they try to push the doorbell, but they supposedly didn't push it hard enough, and there's no ring sound, right? I'm going to sit right in front of the window, and I'm going to watch. So that's just a quick little update on me getting my hands on the Switch 2. So when I do get my hands on the console, there are a couple of games that I do want to revisit. I've already mentioned this before, somewhere. Because certain games got not just Nintendo Switch 2 updates, like actual enhancements, they actually got borderline DLC. Locked behind a freaking console, which is a bit of a scummy move, but whatever. So the games in question are obviously Tears of the Kingdom. Well, not really the game itself, but there's also the Zelda Notes app that corresponds with the game. And, probably the biggest one, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. That has a whole new sub-mode or whatnot. Now, it's going to be quite a while longer before I revisit Tears of the Kingdom, and that's because of one thing. The Minoru amiibo. That still hasn't come out yet. That still hasn't even been announced. The other 4 champions got amiibos long ago. And for some reason, this Minoru amiibo is just taking its sweet time. Does it even exist? I don't know what's taking so long. But yeah, I'm planning to revisit Tears of the Kingdom once the Minoru amiibo releases. Which, judging by Nintendo's recent release strategy for amiibos, might be a very long time from now. Because, for some reason, Nintendo seems to be releasing new amiibos months after the games come out. Take, for example, when Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 released on the Switch. Well, as of me recording this right now, the Mario Galaxy Amiibos still haven't released yet. So that should tell you, as of right now, they still haven't released. The Kirby Air Riders Amiibos, well, those are coming out months apart, let alone months after the game. Let's see, the Mario Wonder Amiibos? Yeah, those aren't out yet, and Mario Wonder released a couple years ago. What else? Resident Evil, those Amiibos. The game is out, but the Amiibos aren't coming out until the summer. And last I checked, it's going to snow tomorrow. So it clearly ain't summer yet. I don't know what their strategy is, releasing the Amiibos so late after the game, after the hype has died down. The Mario ones I can kind of get, because if I'm not mistaken, the Mario Galaxy Amiibos release on April 2nd, and the Mario Galaxy movie releases April 1st. So like, hey, I just watched the Mario Galaxy movie. It was great. Oh, I'm shopping the next day. Hey, look at that. Mario Galaxy figures? Ooh, I enjoyed the movie. I'll pick one up. I think that's their strategy for the Mario Galaxy Amiibos, but everything else, it's like, what's the point? You're releasing them long after the games came out. You're releasing them long after the hype. So I don't get it. You know, you announce the figures, I want my figures now. You announce them, I want them now. I don't want to wait like 6 months for them after the project that they're associated with has come out already. You feel me on that? Like, you get what I'm saying? And also, the Amiibos are expensive these days. Gone are the days of Amiibos being like $15.99. We have gone all the way to $70 for one. How nuts is that? The DDD Amiibo for Kirby Air Riders, $70 Canadian. I think for now, I'm going to kiss that dream goodbye of buying enough Kirby Air Rider Amiibos to have every single combination possible separately, mix-mashing all of them separately. Yeah, that's going to be a lot of money. But on the other hand, if I don't buy them all now, the prices are only going to go up in the future. You know, and yes, before you ask, I do plan to do the same thing with the old Monster Hunter Amiibos. Like, those are so easy to find these days. I do have those, by the way, but I only have one of each. You know, there's also something I've wanted to do, but I haven't done yet, so let me do it right now. I am going to go into EB Games on the website. I'm just going to simply add the games to cart. I'm not going to purchase them yet. I'm going to add them to cart because I'm curious. How much will they cost? With my Switch 2 on the way, I want to see. I think there are... How many exclusives are there I want? Let's see. So let's see, Mario Kart World. So, physical copy, new, is $109.99, so $110. That is absolute bullshit. Hyrule Warriors, Age of Imprisonment, $99.99. I do want that game, though. I do. Let's see. Kirby Air Riders. Also $99.99. Or I can get a used copy for $89.99. At that point, I'll just spend $10 more to get a new copy. I think at the moment those are the only 3 Switch 2 games, like Switch 2 exclusive games I want. Because Pokemon Pokopia, as much as I want to give the game a try, as much as I'm seeing people online play it and enjoying it, the fact that it's a game key card. So at the moment, no. Let's see, Pokemon Winds and Waves ain't out yet. So, the total would be $309.97 before tax. Just for those 3 games. I swear, wasn't there another Switch 2 exclusive I wanted? Not Donkey Kong Bonanza. Sorry, Donkey Kong fans. Ugh. Because, aside from those games, there are Switch 2 exclusive titles that I want to try. I mentioned this before. Pokemon Colosseum, XD Gale of Darkness. Like, I never got a chance to play those games. Oh yeah, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. Was never a big fan of the Yoshi series. I don't remember if I played them or not. Like, they just don't interest me that much. No offense to the Metroid fans, I'm also not into the Metroid series. Oh my god, I forgot the Welcome Tour exists for $10. Like hell if I'm if I'm doing that. At the moment it seems like it's really just those 3 games. It's kind of pathetic how little Switch 2 exclusive content there is. Like, I'm buying a whole new console just to play majority the games that are on the first console. And there's only 3 games that I actually want that are exclusive to this console. One of them, me saying I want, is a bit of a stretch. Because Mario Kart World, while yes, I want to play that, from what I see, it's like, I need to wait until I get my hands on it and really experience it for myself. But from just what I see, I kind of like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe more. And I feel like a lot of people have that same thought as well. But I'll reserve judgment until I actually get my hands on the game for myself. And then I see on Nintendo's website a literal description. Game key card. Some physical games are available as a game key card. insert a game keycard to download the full game on your system. You can play the game by starting it like a standard physical game card. Sounds scummy to me. Game keycards are different from regular game cards because they don't contain the full game data. Instead, the game keycard is your key, in brackets. Key, did I say brackets? In quotations I meant. Is your key to downloading the full game on your console via the internet. After it's downloaded, you can play the game by inserting the game keycard into your console and starting it up as normal. Man, I can't believe no one online is talking about the fact that Pokopia is a game keycard. I just see everyone having a blast with it. Anyways, I see we're soon finishing up with the Koroks. Sorry today was such a mess. My bad reading and not really too much else to talk about. Man, alright, I can count, let's see. So there's 3 Switch 2 exclusives I actually want. You know, not counting the games that haven't come out yet, like Winds and Waves. So currently 3. And then Pokemon Colosseum, Pokemon XD, Gale of Darkness. I'm buying a console for access to a number of games I can count on one hand. And then, Switch 2 content, primarily just for one game. Kirby and the Forgotten Land. So like, 5.5. Buying a whole console just for 5.5 games. And the rest are just going to be games we already have. Ah, what a smart investment. But, you know what? In like a 1.5 to 2 years' time, and I'll be playing the new Pokemon games that are going to be exclusive to this console. Haha, the jokes will be on all you folks. Is that how it works, though? I did spend the money. And I do need to watch out the window like a hawk until the delivery truck shows up. Like, if it doesn't show up, who do I even call? Like, do I call the same helpline again? Like, hey, I watched out the window the entire day, and I can confirm myself that no delivery truck ever showed up. But, sir, we do have on our systems that they did try to deliver. No, you didn't. I looked outside myself. I sat here all day, and I saw no one attempt to deliver. What's funny is, the supposed 2 attempts that they tried to deliver it were around the same time. Both attempts were around 1 p.m. So that's where I'm gonna ballpark guess will be when they deliver it. I mean, hey, 2 out of 3 attempts of delivering was around 1 p.m. So, like, what are the chances a third one will be as well, right? I don't want to say too high. I don't want to say too low, but also it's not impossible. Anyways, we're just about wrapped up. I can't believe I've been sitting here talking for an hour. Oh, look at that! A very glaring jump scare of a red moon. Well, I just hope I don't play the Switch 2 Joy-Cons to destruction, like I have several pairs of Switch 1 Joy-Cons. Damn, I really like those Skyward Sword Zelda ones too. See, that's why I pulled a big brain move and I bought 2 pairs of those Joy-Cons. One in case the first pair broke, which, yep, I played them to destruction. But I haven't busted those bad boys out yet. Reserving them. Anyways, so, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you all next time.